All right. Well, hi, everybody. This is Marie Fertoni, and I am with Get Clients Everywhere and the Women's Professional Development Network. And I am very happy to say, you probably have heard me say this again, but I'm happy to say that we are now proud best-selling authors of the book Inspiring Women, uh, Passion, Purpose, and Power in Professionalism. I sometimes get those P's mixed up in there, but they're all important words. And we're just really celebrating all of the authors. And today I have one of the inspiring authors, inspiring woman, Gayle Ely. Gayle, welcome.
Thank you, Marie. It's so glad to be with you today.
This is fun. I've been doing these thumbnail interviews just to really give another oomph out there to encourage people to get to know all of the authors. And I'm just so proud of what everyone has done. We all say yes to something, and then it's like, oh, do I really want to do this? And am I really inspiring? And all these conversations that go on. But, we did it, people persevered. And that's why I think that to me, that's really very inspiring. I've known Gail now for a few years, and she clearly is a leader. She is the owner of the business Total Life Leadership. She's a leadership coach. She works also in the nonprofit area. She's on the board of directors of some great organizations, and she has a leadership position in the Women's Professional Development Network as well. And Gail, I'm so happy that you were part of this program. I guess project is not really a program, but what meant it? What did it mean for you to be part of this? And did you have some fun doing it? What did you learn about yourself in this project?
Oh, wow. Some great questions, Marie. First of all, it was an honor to be asked to be in the Inspiring Women book. So I want to thank you for that. It's been wonderful the last few years to get to know you and to work with you. I find you an inspiring woman. So that was really fun. And then when I was asked to do it, it was like, okay, what am I going to write about? And what I wrote about is my leadership journey, which started out pretty well, and then basically there was a crash and burn, and I had to pick myself back up and decide what I was going to do with the rest of my career life. And it turned out that I'm helping other leaders to prevent them from experiencing what I experienced. So, my chapter in the book is about that journey and my journey to actually becoming a leadership coach to help other leaders, and now expanding my business to work with nonprofit leaders using my power of passionate leadership models.
I mean, it's just great. Thank you for the nice compliment. And I think, you talk about crashing and burning, and for the people that I selected and invited to be part of this, they've all been in their careers for the long haul. Um, we've been at it for a long time, and none of us escapes all those the hard times. There are the good times, and they're salt and peppered with the challenging times, and sometimes we just flat out stop, and then have to really regroup and say. But the one thing that's been about you is that the theme of your life and the theme of your business has been constant all the way through, and what to see how you portray yourself, how you lead others, how you lead our group. You are a passionate leader yourself, and I really appreciate that. Tell our viewers and our listeners about your chapter. What's the name of your chapter so that they can identify it when they go into the book?
Sure. Sure. The name of the chapter is Phoenix Rising, a Leadership Journey.
It's great. You kind of referenced that a little bit. So you were the phoenix rising from whatever it was you were rising from, and
Yeah.
all of us have had those moments for sure. Yeah. Was it cathartic at all writing the story, or what did you hope to do with the readers in writing your chapter?
Well, I have actually told my crash and burn story, if you will, or the positive way of saying it is my Phoenix Rising story. I think that I came up with that title, and that was very different than kind of how I had thought about my experience before. In the past, it was more almost like a confessional when I talked about it. This time, in a way, it was cathartic because I realized Yeah, there was the crash and burn, but the more important thing was there was the phoenix rising, to new and better things.
I think that's a really great point, Gail. I think for all of us, that's the piece that we want to go through. I was saying to a colleague the other day, the sun doesn't stay out for 24 hours a day. I mean, the sun comes up and the sun goes down and the moon comes up. It gets dark every day, everywhere in the world, but yet it always turns out to be light. And I think it's really great to really focus on inside of that. It's like the lotus flower, that you come out of the muck and the mud and the ashes and you realize, wow, everything that I did before was still really relevant, but now I can do it in a different way. And I think that's something that if people read your chapter, which is great, by the way,
Thanks.
it can really make a difference for people because I think this is just my opinion, but I think there's a lot of people who are not they haven't gotten to the Phoenix rising part yet. They're even on the way down, I think, in many cases, to coming down to their in their own crash and burn.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad, but sometimes that needs to happen and you give it its form and you give it its life, but you give people hope to say, this is another way of really looking at it, and we hope that you continue going. You know,
Yeah, my experience was really a journey. It was a journey of realizing that I had some real strengths in what I did in my leadership roles, but I had some lack of self-awareness. And, that allowed some things to happen that weren't so great. And yet that crash and burn allowed me the opportunity to do a lot of self-reflection, to figure out, yes, what I did really well, to recognize that leadership has always been a passion of mine and was going to continue to be a passion of mine, and to take my experience and turn it into something that could help other people. One of my biggest values, my most important values, is service. So how do I turn this into a way to serve other people? And that's what I think I've done since, that time.
yeah, it's really great. And now all of you can see why I think she is an inspiring woman. I have a conversation with her. I spent some time with her and I feel inspired because she's just like straight as an arrow to the point. She just, all the fluff goes away and there's just a very wonderful, solid piece. I'm not sure how to describe it because I'm saying it kind of off the cuff here, but there's just something that's very, very solid and grounded and centered in Gail. And when you made a really good point a few minutes ago when you said I didn't always do the personal development or the personal growth for myself. And I think one of the themes of the authors in our book, and I think this is just true for entrepreneurship, those of us that are business owners, and many of us work out of our homes. We don't work in fancy office buildings anymore. But what makes things really work is when we work on ourselves. There's our business, then we get to do what we do and what we say we're going to be providing for our clients. But then working on ourselves and going through the dark places, the light places, the medium places, are always very, very important. And I think the people that actually spend the time to do that really end up really winning and having a fulfilling career. So I just think it's really great. And I'm so proud of you and proud of what the job that you've done and for your partnership and your collaborative effort in this book is just outstanding. And I know part of why we're doing these interviews is to alert our readers and our fans of this book. I was at a party yesterday, and the book, one of the women said, I wanted the book to get out in time so that I could have bought copies for all the people that attended. And
Mm.
it just didn't happen, but I thought, "Wow." I mean, that just made me feel so great, that she would even consider, that. Um, but we have gifts. All of the authors, or most of the authors that have a business, have opted to give a gift, so that if you've bought the book and you'd like to take a look at what all of the authors have shared that would make a difference for all of you. Will you share what your gift is and why it's important for people to have that?
Sure. Along with the power of passionate leadership model, I've also created what I call the 6 pillars of passionate leadership. They are pillars that, are pillar to me is a strength. It's a foundation that you really have to have in order to be a good leader, or in my case, with my model, a passionate leader. So there are six pillars. Uh, Things like embodied trust, things like having a positive growth mindset, taking inspired action, even celebrating results, whether the results are what you wanted or what you didn't want.
Yeah.
So, what I have created as the gift to go along with our book is called the Passionate Leadership Action Plan. And what it gives you the opportunity to do is take an assessment to see where you are with regard to the six pillars, and then once you see where you are today and then where you want to be in the future in each of these pillars, you can start to think about and strategize about which of the pillars that you really want to work on in your personal development. And so once you take the assessment, then you create your action plan. And that's the gift that I am giving to anyone who would like to have it, and particularly those who are reading the book.
Yeah, it's really great. Thank you so much for doing that. I downloaded mine. I haven't done my assessment yet, but I downloaded it. And Gail's gift and all of the other authors that have given a gift, there's some good stuff there for sure. And we hope that you'll go and take a look. Again, our book, we're really proud of the fact, who knew, that we could kind of bond together and get our community to back us. And that's also the power of leadership. When you lead, you have people that you're leading, which is nice. And so we hit number one bestseller on Amazon in three of the categories that we were listed. And that's just something I think to be proud of. We have put our focus in doing that. And it's fun to say you're an author, but it's also fun to say you're a best-selling author, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And, Marie, because I'm a leadership geek and a leadership expert, or maybe not an expert, but one who's learning all the time, I just want to acknowledge your leadership in getting us together and getting us to the over the finish line to get the book published.
Well, thank you so much. It's actually really been a fun project. And yesterday I was out at this event, and it was just a party with some friends, and there was a lot of women there that I didn't know, and I loved it. I was very inspired. I mean, I sat there and I was inspired by what these women were doing in the world. I mean, we had one woman who was she supports the first ladies in the White House. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
what? And I mean, she looked like she was 30, and she was just so poised and so great, and we just had a lot not that was not in common, but we had a lot in common. And I was listening as people described what it was that they were doing in their stands, and, I thought, "Boy, there's, some people had asked me if I would do a volume 2, and I thought, there's some people that I might, interview and see if they would be really appropriate for it." Because I think inspiring women are all around us, and what the book my intention with creating the book was to give all of these great people greater visibility. And that's in paper, in reading, doing these interviews here on Zoom that people can use in their marketing. We just all need to be known about, and people are really doing great work. It is fine. It's just great to celebrate our successes and to celebrate wherever it is that we are, regardless of where we are. And that is something that's really very important. So I'm very proud of your accomplishments. I'm glad that you're in my circle of brilliance for sure. And I just want to say thank you. So for the listeners and the readers, you can reach Gail. The best way to reach you, Gail, is at totallifeleadership.com. Is that correct?
Actually, total-life-leadership.com.
Oh,
I
okay.
had to put those dashes in.
Yeah, thank you. So total dash, say
Life,
it again. So I'm sorry, say it again.
total-life-leadership.com.
Okay, it's great. Is that the best way, or is there an email address that you'd like to give?
There's actually a contact page on my website that'll come right to my email.
Okay, perfect. So again, go everybody check out this book. You can get it on Amazon.com. You can also get it on Barnes and Noble. The paperback or soft cover book is now available besides the Kindle. and it's called Inspiring Women with its bright red cover. Purpose, Power, and Passion in Professionalism. Some great stories in there with some great inspiring women. And we hope that you're inspired reading it. Thanks, everybody.